Wow, that's interesting. I feel like the journey from that is like interesting because you weren't not even looking for the music industry. Get into the music industry.
at
So
all.
and then you start pitching to these shows, you get on these shows, like that's crazy. But let's take us back to the beginning. Like who is Sherontelle? Like can we know the like who you are?
The real person, the real me, not the entertainment me.
Yeah.
I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I am a woman who has survived domestic violence.
Wow.
It was a situation where it nearly I was life flighted,
Mm,
and that's what caused me to just say, "Hey, no more."
okay.
And I relocated from Cleveland, Ohio to the New York City area. And I've been here on the East Coast for 15 years. So that's how I started. That's what it was. It was one of those things where it said, hey, I want to do something different. I want life to look different. I want to start to choose me.
Yeah.
And that's how, yeah, that's a little bit about me, is that I was that little girl from Cleveland, Ohio with a dream. Didn't really necessarily know what that dream actually was. I just knew that I always strived for better. So
Can we go back to you said that you're a survivor of domestic abuse. Can you talk about that and just how you were able to, make your way out of it? Because I'm sure even in the pandemic, there are women that are in that same situation right now. And,
that's true.
you know, that can encourage them to, walk away from that situation because it's very unhealthy.
For me, walking away looked like it was literally like life or death situation, where it caused me to um I was in a coma. I get out. I had to learn how to, my mom had to take care of me for those 30 days so I can recover. And then it was like, if you stay in this, you're not going to survive this. That was for me. That was an eye opener for me, that if a person says that they love you, why would you want to take me away from my children? That just makes absolutely no sense. So that's what made me just leave. Sometimes unfortunately, a lot of women don't, get that opportunity. And I felt like, wow, God giving me that opportunity to survive. So I got to make the best of this. It's time to go. So I left. I had a home, 2 cars. I left all of that behind to set out on an unforeseen journey. If I didn't even know what that was going to look like. Was this person going to eventually come out and, come out and look for me?
Yeah.
Um, am I going to be able to survive in another state with no family and not really a whole lot of support? There were so many questions that I did find myself in the middle. Like, should I go back home? I love this person, all of those things. But then I had to learn how to love me enough to say enough is enough.
And you said it was bad to the extent that you were in a coma.
I was in a coma. He had fractured my jaw. I lost my eyesight for a while. It was just it was just really bad. I jumped out of a second floor window. So I had to, yeah, I jumped out of a second floor window to get away. And I don't know, it was just really bad. It was so many times of so many other instances where I just did not, I stayed. And I just decided, like, no, no more. It just has to get to a point where you just say enough is enough, because there's no other way out other than to take a chance and say, I'm going to just choose me. Because you don't even know, like for some women, if they leave, he could find them and they could still not be safe. So for me, thank God, I would say, because I don't really believe in luck, but I would just say thank God that I was able to get out and I haven't looked back since. But it was
So
enough is enough. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. So you
Mm.
felt once it was over. So let me ask you this. I want to go
Hmm.
back that place of the coma. Was
Yeah.
that the you were hurt the most, and that's what did it, or
Um, me just not being able to hold my child at that time, that's what did it for me. You know, me feeling like this is rock bottom with my mom has to take care of me when she was already ill herself. It was so many different things that I was looking, you know, just really evaluating and looking around at and saying, I can't do this. Like, this is not okay. Like, you know, this is not okay. It was just that. Yes, that was the worst.
Mm.
I literally, when you have to jump out of a second floor window to survive, that for me was that was it.
Yeah,
That took, yeah, that was the straw in the camel's back for me.
yeah, yeah. And do you feel like looking back, Sherontelle, that you should have left way before it got to that point?
There were red flags even before the first hit, I guess,
Hmm.
the first punch. There were
Yeah.
red flags, and I totally looked past that. I
Mhm.
did not, yeah, I did not. I was just like, okay, maybe, you know, I started making excuses and saying, oh, maybe it was me, or maybe, you know, he had a bad day. All of these crazy excuses. So, yes, there were red flags even before he physically started abusing me.
Was that your first time being in an experience like that?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So, yeah. So, you said, you walked away, you said you had children. So in this
Mm-hmm.
situation, those is that the kid's father, not to, be too
Oh, hmm, well, my daughter, she's older, so no. But yes, my younger one, yes. Hmm.
bad. I was trying to